Welcome back to Washingborough Hall. My name is Stuart McFarlane Bedford, and today I'll be presenting session 2 of 3 on the business reviews. And in this session, we're going to be focusing on the SWOT analysis. So, what is a SWOT analysis? Well, it's a framework used to evaluate a company's competitive position and to develop a strategic plan. It's a process that is carried out and it looks at 4 key areas within the business. It looks at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So here are some examples of SWOT analysis. They can be in columns, 4 columns, they can be in squares, 4 boxes, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, or it could be an image. All these type of SWOTs are available from Google for you to use and have a look at those. So why should I use a SWOT analysis? I'm only a small business, I hear you ask. Will it bring me any benefits? The answer is absolutely. And the benefits it will bring you is it will allow you to gain a greater insight into your business operation and activities. It will also allow you to have a helicopter view, an overview of the business rather than looking in so much detail. And it will also allow you to identify your position with your peers, with your competition, within your town, within your sector, so you're able to benchmark yourself. And also, it will give you a snapshot view of what you do well, what you can improve on, but also the opportunity of planning for the future. So let's have a look at a SWOT in detail. So what do we mean by strengths within a SWOT analysis? Well, it's looking at what does your company do really well? What are the qualities that separate you from your competition? And what's your internal resources? Have you got really good skilled staff? Have you got a great menu? Have you got fantastic accommodation? What are the resources that are available to you? And finally, what is your uniqueness? What is your offer? What differentiates you from your competition? On the opposing side, think about your weaknesses. Things that your company lacks, things that your competition may do better. You know, where do you have limitations on your resources? Could you do with more tables, more chairs? And are your customers really clear what your offer is? What's your unique selling proposition? And then if we look at opportunities, what are the opportunities that you can see? Are there any untapped markets for new services that you want to bring out? How many competitors do you have in the area? If there's only a few competitors, that's great. Is there a demand for your services? And actually, are there opportunities that you can promote your business through PR or local media coverage? And then if we look at the threats could be what's on the horizon, what's changing? Are there any regulatory environments, or are there any changes in laws that are happening? Are there new competitors coming into your area? Has there been any negative PR or media coverage about you or about the town? And have customers changed their attitude, whereas once what you were offering was popular and now it's not so popular? So looking at all of these, taking these together, we analyze that information. But the SWOT, so we've got our strengths, we've got our weaknesses, we've got our opportunities, and we've got our threats. So strengths and weaknesses tend to be the internal influences, and external influences tend to be the opportunities and the threats. Or you can look at it another way. The positive influences are the strengths and the opportunities, and the negative influences are the weaknesses and the threats. These can be divided And if we look at the chart now, the relationship between strengths and opportunities and strengths and weaknesses. So let me give you an example about the Disney Corporation. So this is well known within the tourism and entertainment industry. And their business model is based purely on repeat business. So they estimate that every customer has a lifetime value of $50,000 to the Disney Corporation. And how do they assess that? They work on the basis that as a child, your parents may take you to one of their amusement parks, or you may buy a Disney video or a DVD, or you may go in the Disney shop and buy some merchandise. And then as you get older, you will revisit some of the parks and take your children there. So they estimate that everyone is worth $50,000 lifetime value. And they have an aim, and their aim is to improve the customer experience by only 1% every visit or every interaction. So that means that every time you go, there's something extra, and therefore you want to go back. And how do they do this? First of all, they focus internally on themselves. They make sure that their management team understand what needs to be done. They then look at their staff, and the management influence the staff, and then they look at how the staff interact with the customers. And what they're looking at is making sure that their internal processes meet the high standards that they expect and deliver the quality experience for their customers. And the interesting fact is that they have about 10% of their staff change every year because they're not a good fit for the organization. So I think we can learn something. It's all about customer experience for them. So in summary, do not undervalue the benefit of the SWOT in helping you to improve your operations activities. The key thing is to be honest with yourself, use the internal knowledge to plan for improvement. That's using your strengths and your weaknesses, and use the external knowledge to plan for the future. That's the opportunities and threats. And make the changes to attract those new customers and those repeat bookers. And remember, sometimes the smallest changes have the greatest impact. So that's the end of session 2 of 3 on SWOT analysis. I hope you found the session interesting, and in the next session I will be talking to you about how to carry out an internal SWOT analysis, how to interpret that information, and how to plan for the future.